This week's episode of From the House of the Holy is brought to you by one of Stirling Football Club's major sponsors, 3JS Construction, for all your residential, commercial and industrial cabinetry and carpentry, and the Past Players and Members Day, celebrating the 20-year anniversary of the 1998 merger and subsequent reserves and League B-grade premierships on Saturday, the 21st of June. Enjoy the show. Hello everyone and welcome to yet another Stirling Saints Football Club podcast from the House of the Holy. It's your insider look into the players and people who make our humble sporting club. I am, as always, your host, Damon Eden. With me, as always, is my reliable co-host. He has extended an invitation to the Filipino national basketball team to go caving with him somewhere in Thailand. It's a good evening to Mr. Daniel Tilby.
G'day, Damo. No, very topical subject there, and well worked into it.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Did you watch it? Did you watch the basketball?
Oh my goodness, mate! Yeah, phenomenal. We'll dissect that very soon, Tills, because I think our guest on tonight, who you don't know, will have a vested interest, and I dare say might have some insider gossip about what's going on about that. But my take about it was Look, I didn't know about much of the argy-bargy. Apparently, even in the warm-ups, there was a bit of argy-bargy.
Yeah, they blow out everything.
Yeah.
It is basketball. It's almost softer than soccer.
Yeah, it's almost embarrassing when you see them doing the fights and all that, like the way they're punching and that. It's almost embarrassing when they see them like it's the limp-wristed sort of, like girly fights almost sometimes. Although
there was flying kicks that didn't make contact, and little haymakers, and there's like little. This is Philippines. This is where Manny Pacquiao comes from, and they're dangerous, the Philippines, but I wasn't that impressed with it. I'll tell you.
I'll tell you, the kicker really put his solidly hit that dude like pretty damn well. I thought, that's the biggest hit, and when he got one back right at the end there, well, just as he was backpedaling through the crowd. Anyway, look, Tills, let's throw you to this guy we've got on today, our special guest. I'll give you his credentials. You'll probably get it straight away. But let's put it this way. Currently on our Stirling Saints website in the most games played, he, according to those records, he's on 104 games. But I'd suggest that he's a bit more, obviously, because he has played. He's a current player this season, currently playing for our reserves. He has made a career playing for reserves and thirds, so he's been there for quite a few years now, actually. He's been, I think, maybe this is his 11th season, maybe it's 10th or 11th season with the club. And, this will give it away. He was our thirds, Fairest and best in 2008. And I believe in the same year, Tills, he also won the league Fairest and best.
One of the greatest of goal kickers of all time, Troy Mellidis. You got it right, Tills. How are you, Troy Dog?
Yeah, not too bad.
Welcome aboard, mate.
Thanks for having me on.
Now, Troy, did you catch much of the Australia versus of the Philippines qualifying World Championship basketball match the other night?
I did see the highlight reel, but I didn't really watch much of the basketball game, no.
Yeah. Well, apparently it was the basketball match sort of broke out towards the end there, but did you read much about it? Anything like that? Being a tall figure yourself, I would have thought, and a basketballer as well. What was your read on it?
Well, it was good to see Thon Maker. He's right in there. He's a Herb Graham product.
Oh, is he
really?
Yeah, I think he was originally from somewhere in Africa, Sudan maybe.
Yeah.
And he came over to Perth and then onto the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, that's right. And, geez, how about that? And also there's impressive flying semi-knee, low shin kick later on.
He would have learned that on the streets of Mirrabooka for sure.
I was impressed because what was it, Kickett, who was the one who was getting pile drive there, and I think when he dove in, he basically picked up the spare of at least 7 pins left in the stack. He pretty much bowled everyone over, didn't he? Hello.
Yeah.
You go, Troy. You got the.
No, he did. Yeah, and so Luke Longley looks like he's put on a few kilos as well.
Yeah,
hasn't he, Justin?
Yeah, he's far from his playing. Well, as you would imagine, from his Bulls playing days, but that was about 20 years ago. Remember? Oh, geez, when did he retire? Early 2000s, somewhere.
Yeah, something like that.
It would have been. Shit, before then, I reckon, even, don't I?
Before even the 2000s? Yeah.
Before even 2000, I reckon, because otherwise he would have played in the Olympics for Australia. Yeah. And I don't really did in Sydney.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was interesting to watch. It was like Chris Goulding, great player, but I'm not a massive fan. He's so soft.
Oh, and cocky as hell as well. He's just one of those Mr. He's got a strut on the court. He's very arrogant, isn't he? But I reckon he played for the Falcons. The first, I mean, I would like to see. I didn't see any of the game before, and how loosely the calls would have been. From all reports, from what I hear, the officials were letting a fair bit go, and I think it came off with the first of all I think it was the solid screen, and then and that Filipino player, a bit of a firebrand, gave him one back, and Goulding would have played for it as well. He got it. He copped it high. Obviously, it was a forearm, and it was played high. Was looking for the free, and I would have thought Kickett would have surely just stood back and said, "All right, he's okay. He's looking around. Can anyone blow the whistle here?" But didn't allow the whistle to be blown for him to throw it in. Instead, just smashed him one.
Just when he just gave the other bloke one. Yes. That was beautiful.
That's not a forearm. This is a forearm.
This is a forearm. That's how you do it, champ.
Yeah. Have you been involved in any on-court altercations, Troisy, in your basketballing career?
No, it's not. Yeah, there's a little bit of shoving, but not really too much, because you can get ejected in basketball as opposed to, say, Aussie rules.
Yeah.
If you're playing in a team with you've only got 5, you're not doing teammates a favour if you get ejected or you foul out. So it's a different mentality, I guess. You can't go snot someone and worry about it next week. You sort it out there and then.
Yeah, I love how the officials are holding Australians who are getting involved as well. So really, really interesting how the chair's been thrown by the assistant coach by the Philippines, and then selfies afterwards. Comical.
But Troy, Herb Graham, this has probably been. We used to play with Damo and myself.
Mm-hmm.
Play a bit of indoor soccer.
Inverted commas.
Some heated confrontations, that's the word. Being the Aussie blokes there, it was a bit difficult. Unskilled Aussie blokes at the game of soccer. But with the Herb Graham, the volatility of a basketball. The threats of "I'll see you out in the car park." you never had that come up in the cruises.
No, not even close.
Certainly no threats in English.
Fairly social. Maybe in soccer. Soccer's a different game again. No, a couple of shoves. I've been fouled out. Used up all my fouls and sent off.
Yeah.
But I've been playing down there for a few years now.
You're not a violent person, are you, Troy?
No, I'm not known for getting involved in too much. Not anymore, anyway.
No.
Now you mentioned about soccer too, Troy. Now my understanding is you are like a few of the guys that came through the thirds and reserves and so forth in the most recent years. Your origins are in soccer as well, aren't they? You started soccer?
Yeah, it started off, all through high school, and that was playing the round ball.
Yeah.
And I played down at Truett Hill Soccer Club. And I obviously got onto a fairly Italian high school like Servite College. It was all the round ball.
Yeah.
Every bunch. Our football team was useless. So there wasn't, but the soccer team was untouchable. They won everything.
Is that right? What did you play there, Troy?
Oh, soccer. I played on the left wing. That was my great cross. I used to lob the ball in and make everyone else look good. Yeah, really had to do all the hard work.
I would have thought a tall bloke like you would be in the middle, be receiving the header, mate, or are you on the other end receiving the header from the right cross?
No, I was putting the headers in. I was referred to as like a young Stan Lazaridis, I was.
I'll ask Stan because I'm really good mates with his brother Steve. So I will mention this to him if he's ever heard of the name of Troy Mellidis. So I'll get back to you in a future podcast there, Troy.
Yeah. Oh, he'll say, I know him. He was a 2008, F grade league Fairest and best, wasn't
he? Yeah.
That guy.
He probably will come up with that. Yeah.
10 years ago. So, Troy, it's great to have you on board, mate. What we'll do is we'll talk about the last rounds match. Now you've been backwards and forwards, more in than out, in playing for our beloved reserve side this season. You unfortunately didn't play last game against Melville. That's correct. I was there.
I didn't play that game.
Yeah, I watched actually the second half of the reserves match, and I watched the first half of the league match. Just happened to be in the vicinity of Melville at that time with the family. So I'll give you a rundown. We league lost by 82. 6 goals, 9 is what we kicked. And reserves lost by 44 points, but spirited because we kicked 6 goals, 12. So we had a fair bit of the ball in the forward line in that second half. I think we kicked, of those 6 goals, I think we kicked 3 unanswered on the trot in the fourth quarter, at the start of the fourth quarter. So interesting signs. We had not quite a few. We had about 3 league players. I think 3. I counted 4 actually. There might have been more. 4 league players were actually helped out the reserves and filled in. So I know Johnny Corfius and G helped fuel the half forward line a fair bit. And so that gives us. Let's not look at the losing streak we got for both teams, but we've got Carlisle at home this round coming up, and we can tell you that. In round 4, our league side lost to Carlisle away by 53.
Yeah, that was not a pretty game.
Yeah, and our reserves, we lost by 115 points at Carlisle there, with only 1 goal to our name. So
that was even worse, Damo, because Carlisle hadn't had a win and been pumped by 20 odd goals similar to us, and. Yeah, changed there. I don't know what the heck happened, but to get a result like that was just out of the world, honestly.
Was that our second or third loss? No, sorry, this is round 4. So this would have been our first loss.
First loss of the round for the league team.
Yeah,
and probably would have gone in there pretty confident, really. I mean, you 3 on trot, looking pretty well. Just injuries, this and that. But excuse me. The reserves team result was just weird. Just getting pumped by 20 goals to a team who hadn't won a game and had been pumped was bizarre. And we actually had a really good team in there that day.
Yeah.
So I'm calling chunky business there.
Yeah. Look, what do you think, Troy? Do you think it's a case where Carlisle had a lot of players away the first 3 rounds and all of a sudden, we're back from holidays? Or do you think there's... What are some of the theories? You're a conspiracy theorist, Troy. What could you come up with?
Well, they've got Adam Hunter down there now, don't they? He used to play for the West Coast Eagles. Yeah, so maybe he rallied around a few of his mates who were playing with him at Whitfords and got them across.
That's a fair point there, Troy. Yeah, very insightful.
Yeah, because they came off some premiership. I don't know if it was a year or 2 ago. I remember working the bar at the grand final day, and I thought, hey, that's that Hunter.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what we just rallied around and got a whole heap of players. Or they did an early pre-season and the fitness is coming through now.
Yeah. Adam Hunter
like ours, eh?
Sorry, go on, Tills.
Yeah.
Just like ours. Yeah. Our fitness is looking good now. Well, I mean, you look at that last round, we had really good scoring opportunities. You look at the reserves, what was the score there, Damo?
We had 18 scoring shots, Till. 6 goals,
18
12.
scoring shots. You make that into 11, 12 goal sort of turnaround. You're going to be competitive.
Yeah. Sammy Day, I spoke to him afterwards, and he shook his head. He said, look, it could have been a lot closer had I been kicking a lot. I think he kicked 2 goals, 6, I think he told me. So he said it would have been. So, yeah, he said, so it's not,
1 goal, 14, wasn't it?
Sorry?
1 goal, 14, I heard.
Sammy.
1 goal, 14. That's your career goal.
Missing you up for it, Troy. Yeah, so, I mean, look, it's not a case of lack of putting it on the board. I don't know. It's, like I said, at halftime, I started watching the game, and we were obviously, I thought, geez, we're getting a lot of the ball here when I was driving in the car park, and I thought, we're getting a lot of the ball from what I can see. Then I saw the scoreboard, and I went, oh, that's unusual. But that hasn't been I guess it hasn't been unusual for our reserve side to get a lot of play and a lot of ball and a lot of possession. It just can't finish it off on the scoreboard. So maybe we're suffering from Australia's socceritis, where we can play defensively, play the ball, but somehow when it gets to that half forward inside 50, we just don't have that polish, that firepower to break open backs and put on the board, perhaps.
Yeah, I was about to say, that looks to be the case. Yeah, I mean, I played in the forward line, a fair bit this year because they're not as agile and mobile as I once was, running 15 k's a game through the middle.
Yeah.
Up in the forward line. We've got no problems getting it up in there. It's, I think a lot of it falls on Sammy Day's shoulders.
Yeah.
If he's not got the pill, that's kind of like, well, who else do we really work with? It'd be nice to have like another guy in the forward line, like a Paulie Giamov.
Well, how about this one?
Yeah.
Tills, what about a Dion Heyman, getting him into the forward line? Remember when he was playing?
Oh, yeah, he'd be handy.
Yeah.
I think he sculpted his game on my career, anyway. So, very talented player. It's just the opportunities are there, so that's a good sign.
Mm.
We just don't need Troy be lining up for too many outside 30 straight in front.
Although
two or three, Troy, is really good. And T-Dog, you've actually done it right this year. Your goal scoring accuracy is not too bad, is it?
You tell us, Troy. What are your stats?
Yeah, kick one goal, 1 this year.
Yeah, 50%. That's pretty good.
50% accuracy is not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Resting ruckman, that's pretty good.
And 100% ratings from the judges and celebrations too.
Don't mind a good celebration, do you, Troy?
No, a couple of good ones.
What's been your most favourite? What's been your most favourite celebration, Troy? With you, goal-wise?
Oh.
Is there so many to choose
from?
I
remember one game we were down the Delaunay Street end. If you're looking, kicking to the right of screen.
Yep.
So a melee broke out just in front of where our interchange bench is there, and everyone's scrapping on, and whoever was the umpire at the time, he just grabbed the footy and balled it up to break the fight up, and then no one was going for the footy because they're all interested in knocking each other's heads off.
Yep.
So I grabbed it from just outside the interchange bench, had a run, had a bounce, and I've kicked it from about 65, torpedoed through, and it landed just where the fence is. And then I remember I took my Guernsey off and I was like spinning around my head, like Kevin Sheedy, and I was running down the middle. And then once everything had settled down and we went back to the middle, there were a couple of punters who were sitting over at you remember the old scoreboard that was on the other side near the dog kennels there?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing the scoreboard. Yeah, over there, and there was a couple of punters there who were doing the scoreboard, and they had their shirts off, and they were yelling, "Hey, that was 19!" And they were spinning their shirts around as well.
Getting the audience involved, Troy, is a crowd interaction. Yeah, the crowd favourite, Troy Mellidis.
That's it. The umpire did the right thing. He stopped the fight, and he was one of the greatest goals you'll ever see down at Stirling.
Well, the first rule in footy, Troy, is play the whistle, mate. And you did it beautifully.
Yeah. Forever the opportunist. Troy, look, we're going to talk a bit about your history, mate, with the club. Now, you touched upon you having the round ball as far as your background, your playing background. What year did you come down? You won the thirds, fairest and best in 2008. That surely wasn't your first season, was it? Or was your second season, perhaps?
I came down, first season was 2006.
Ah, yes, okay.
I came down, the young 19-year-old. Came down to pre-season. First bloke I met at the club was Guy.
Yep, usually.
And
bit of a
actually, funny story. I was my first training session. I didn't have a driver's license at the time. I'd had it just put on hold for a little bit. So I rode my push bike there with Stilo. He played a little bit of footy down there.
Yeah, Jeff Steele.
Yeah, we got to the roundhouse and we stopped him for a jug each. And then we rode the rest of the way. And then we did the footy training with a belly full of beer.
How'd you fare on that one? Was it a hard running day, or was it just hard?
Yeah, it was bloody rough, Because this is the Chris Girine. He was the league coach at the time.
Rocky, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a lot of sprinting, and I actually remember that one. I think UWA were down there doing some time trials and stuff. So they had these things where they put little sensors on you, and you had to sprint through the pegs and that. So that was that session.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one. Yeah.
And they had you balancing on stuff, and then they measured your 0 to 20 metre time, and it was quite interesting. And then after that, they actually got people to. I was one of them. We went down to UWA, and they strapped you in all this stuff and gave you $100 and got you to run through and do these football movements.
So what actually brought you? You mentioned old Grant Steele. He was he already down to the club and he invited you down? What was your in to the club? Was it just out of interest, choice by yourself?
No, I didn't know anyone at the club. I knew I wanted to play football, and I actually played a fair bit of baseball with the Balcatta Bears in the junior ranks. So I knew there was a football club up around there.
With the Free Boys and all those guys? And
like Tim Free and, what's his name, Calvin. Griffo. Not Griffo? Griffo?
Yeah, Griffo.
Yeah.
Yes, Griffo.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not
ex-roommate of my housemate.
Yeah. So, I knew those guys. And, I've been gone to the morning strip probably since the T-ball days, so that's 7, 8 years old. Yeah. So that's probably why I wanted to keep going down to that ground.
Cool. Because you knew how to get there.
Especially on the bike.
And once you get over that hill from the Northlands, it's all downhill from there anyway.
So. Even with a jug in your guts. The closer ride from them than the roundhouse, let me tell you that. So, the 2008 season, mate, let's go to your thirds, fairest and best. Look, it was 2008 that you won the league fairest and best, correct?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Okay. Well deserved, by the way, mate. Look, because I know that... I remember your playing style when you were in the ruck. Like you said, you were pretty much had the whole responsibility of rucking virtually the whole game. I think you changed with Jacko, Chris Elliott, from time to time. He was certainly not as tall as you, but it gave you a break, so I think, from time to time. But I think in the end you ended up rucking most of it. But the play used to go like this: the ball goes up, you get first mitts to it, tap it down. Whoever, if it didn't get it, you were pretty good at sort of getting the ball on off the ground too, so soccering on and playing it on. And that's where your soccer skills came into play. And your second and third efforts, when the ball hit the deck, you weren't just the ruckman who tapped it and let everyone else go for it. So on boundary throw-ins and ball ups, you were, the extra player who'd get the ball, and oftentimes you would get it. So I think that's what helped you get those votes. Is that how you remember that season?
Yeah. Well, I remember the season. Well. Yeah, obviously, because as everyone knows who's played footy with me, my skills aren't so great standard. My kicking's not fantastic. But just get your head over the till and get it onto someone else who can. And I think, footy, a lot of it's just the 1%ers.
Yeah, that's.
They add
up to our league first and best, apparently, Troy.
I mean, I always just like to do some light reading, but how's this for some numbers? All right.
I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. Go on.
I finished that season on. This is for the club, not for the association.
Yep.
I finished on 90 votes, right?
90 votes.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Next closest was Benny Amon, who's 26 votes behind me. I could have stopped halfway through the season and just cruised.
Wow.
But that's not as bad. How's this for the 2010 season?
Yep.
Right. Nathan Thomas, 123 votes.
Yeah.
Second place, Sammy Day, 53 votes. Nathan Thomas won it by about 70 votes.
Wow.
Yeah, Ranger was pretty good and probably should have been playing a bit higher than...
Should have been playing league, for sure,
Yeah. What year was that, Troy?
That was 2010 when Ranger just dominated.
He was good, Nathan Thomas was bloody good player and should have been playing higher, but fucking lazy.
Yeah, no, couldn't commit to... couldn't or wouldn't.
Well, he played with his brother. What was his brother's name as well?
Jason. Yeah, you got Jason and Nathan. Well,
Jason and Nathan, yeah.
Well, at least, Jason was there before Nathan. He was he trained a lot more. I remember when Jason first came down. He was there consistently at trainings, and he was a feature in like a key player across half forward, half back in the reserves. And I think I think he's even played a few league games, old Jason. I think he has been called up. So, but Nathan certainly had the talent, certainly had the athleticism to definitely be a part of the league side. Again, it's just the training commitments were lackluster, which was a symptom of many a thirds player. Certainly had it together, certainly could play, but eventually we got Nathan to play reserves. I think through necessity and want and need rather than choice. So, well, let's see. Do you remember how you went for the votes for the league? I mean, F grade 2008 F grade league fairest and best. Do you remember much of Patient night?
Well, I remember the lead up. Actually, probably the last time you called me. You rang me up and you said, Troy, do you want a suit? I said, yeah, I got a suit. I got a funeral. Of course I got a suit. And then, so went along to that night. Looking back on it, I don't know if I really thought much of it. It was just like an event. I didn't know if I was going to win or what, but then as the night went on, I think everyone here actually does get an award. But I think it was a three-way tie. It was 15 votes each, I think.
Yeah, right.
Off my head. Yeah.
Well, that was usually if you get in.
But you had a speech up there, Troy, and how did your speech go?
No, I didn't get a speech. The only bloke who gets a speech is like the A grade fairest and best. And everyone else is just like, here's your medal, next, here's your medal, next. They rush through it. It's quite a
turnstile.
So I'm just big noting myself here, Troy, but how did your speech go at the club then when you won the fairest and best?
Yes.
My speech at the club.
And what turned your career around?
Yeah. I know what you're alluding to. Yeah, I do.
Hey, so after 2008, Troy, let's get to the dark period of your career, mate. Let's get to after the dizzying highs of the success that you individually had in 2008. It came crashing down over the off season, mate. You were involved in a bike accident, correct?
Oh yeah, I've had a couple of bike accidents actually over the years. That busted up my shoulder.
Yep.
But the main one that really stopped me was, come 2009, round 4, 9th of May, against Thornley at Thornley.
Yeah.
That's when I upset my ankle.
Yep.
And, it just never got better. It was always just lingering there to the point where, about 2011, so a couple of years after, I went under the knife and, 2 months off work in a cast and everything just to get that ankle set. It's fine now. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But 2009 was pretty much a write-off. As you see, I went from actually, mind you, I kicked 5 goals in 2009, so I kicked more goals with a busted ankle.
Maybe you cracked it in the right place, mate. Corrected it and.
Possibly. I've had a few injuries over the years, on and off the field, that probably led me to my position I'm in now.
Your knees are the big issue for you now, aren't they?
ring in ruckman.
specialty ruckman game. Yeah, it's the knees, isn't it? Your knees now, Troy, isn't it? That's what is the condition with your knees?
Basically, it's arthritis, but it's also like it's the patella, the tracking of the patella running up and down its groove in the knee.
Yeah.
It's a congenital condition. I've had it my whole life, I guess, but it's only now just coming to light as I'm getting older. And I've seen a physio. I saw him again last week.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing some strengthening exercises to try and build up the quad muscles and then loosen up a few tendons in other areas to try and get it back on track. And I think it is slightly helping. But yeah, just one of those things. I know as the season's getting along, I can just not forget. I hadn't played a game of footy in a long time, and I came back round one, and she was going best on ground. How did you get it?
No, didn't you let everyone? Didn't you just let everyone know it?
Yeah.
And then the wheels fell off. The body caught up with me very fast, and I'd be great. If my knees were better, I think I'd like to have a better crack at it. But as it is, even playing between work and games I can get to, it's just not enough recovery time there.
Well, that's right. Your work does take you away. Like a lot of the guys in our second team have work commitments on that Saturday morning till. Sorry, Troy. And what do you actually do? Just for our listeners out there, tell us what is your occupation?
I'm a apprentice electrical fitter in the railways.
Beautiful.
I work on all the railway signalling. The boom gates that make the cars stop when the train's coming, and all the traffic lights that are for the train, and the pedestrian gates that open and shut. I look after all them. I've been there for a few years now, and I just started on the apprenticeship program.
And you work with one of our esteemed club members or along in the same vicinity, Dom Pish?
Oh, yeah, Dominic Angelino, yeah. I work alongside him.
Yep. Do you see him, is it a daily basis you work alongside him, or does it just happen to be a different crew, same sort of job?
We work in the same signalling depot.
Yeah.
We're on different rosters, but we see each other all the time.
Beauty.
Yeah, he's actually he's one tip ahead of me in the footy team tipping at work, so, screw
Hey, you. Yeah, you, driving the car. Yeah, that's right, you. You looking to renovate your kitchen? Or is your bathroom cabinetry no longer up to scratch? Or does your warehouse, office or showroom need some fancy shelving, storage to impress both employees and customers alike? Well, 3JS Construction, my friend. That's the name you should be remembering, 3JS Construction. They offer extensive experience in cabinetry and makes them the leading choice for cabinet makers in Perth. They've worked with homeowners all across Perth, meeting them halfway, to reinvigorate and remodel their kitchens, bathrooms, other rooms, sheds, with unique cabinetry designs. Their success has been determined by their ability to translate your preferences into design finishes that match your sense of style. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit tasteless when it comes to building things, but if you have no taste, look, I've been told that cabinets are more than just cupboards with drawers or shelves, which is pretty much where I put my socks and jocks, but that's another story. But it's also for storage for your kitchenware. They're also a focal point of your kitchen. They play your vital role in an overall look and feel showcasing your personality. This is something that John Corfius and the crew at 3JS Construction, they understand this. More importantly, they also understand that you need a robust design to ensure that your cabinetry lasts, especially when it comes to commercial design. This is where their custom-made cabinets trump their mass-produced counterparts because they are built for a specific use, feel and style. John and the guys have a great attention to detail, and there's no question that you can ask that's considered too silly. They are there to make things work for you. It is your cabinetry, it's for your business, it's for your house. They want to make sure that what they make is exactly what you want. They're also very professional, and they're tidy, and they leave the place very clean. Their custom cabinet designs are rarely as inexpensive as their stock counterparts, but they do offer considerable value for money, particularly in the long term. When you consider all the benefits taking the tailor-made route offers, it becomes clear why so many clients choose 3JS Construction as the way to go. Built to last, your choice in design, and built to fit. What more could you want from cabinetry? So, call John Corfius at 3JS Construction. His number is 0433 412 452. I'll say it again. Johnny Corfius, current player for the Stirling Saints. That's another story. He's better known for his cabinetry. 0433 412 452. Saturday, the 21st of July, folks. Remember it, Saturday, the 21st of July. That's 3 Saturdays away. Not this Saturday, not next Saturday, but the Saturday following. It's coming up quickly. Why should you be remembering this? Well, gee, if you don't know, you should be, get your head out from under the rock. This is the official date, folks, that we will be celebrating on the Past Players and Members Day. It is the Past Players and Members Day. We'll be celebrating the 20-year anniversary of the 1998 merger between Osborne Park and Balcatta Football Clubs to be part of the B-grade amateur league under the banner of Balcatta Osborne Park, later to be known now as Stirling Football Club. It is a 20-year anniversary of this momentous occasion. Can you believe it? 20 years has come and gone. On top of that, it's also the 20-year anniversary of where we've won our reserves and league premiership. I'm lost for words. It's just such a big moment. Big moment. If you're not there, why not? You ought to be there. 21st of July, the Past Players and Members Day. It is a momentous occasion. It's going to be one of the biggest ones that we've had for some recent years, for the fact that it is a fantastic day. Not only that, but also the moment while we're there. It's going to be for the 20th anniversary. We know people are going to be there for near and far. We know certain names. If you look at the actual players that made that premiership team or premiership teams, my goodness, many of them are still at the club or associated with the club, either in major sponsors or committee members. Some of them have moved across to other clubs, but they're all reserved and said, yeah, we're going to be there for the day. So you need to be there too. That date, Saturday, the 21st of July, it is the Past Players and Members Day. You need to be there. How can I say it anymore? You need to be there. If you're not even there, if you don't have any plans, cancel them. Cancel them. If you've got plans to do something else, I don't care. Be there. You need to be there. Funeral, doesn't matter. They're not going to be waiting for you. You're going to, you can wait for them later. You can sleep when you're dead. Be there. Be at the actual the 21st of July. I'm babbling here, but my goodness. 21st of July, Past Players Day, members. My goodness, why wouldn't you want to be there? All right, Troy. Look, I've got a bit of an insider. You know how on the gossip rags like New Idea and that, and they have on the articles they say a close friend or an insider reveals. I've got my own little source here, a little bit about yourself, Troy, that I want to run it by you. Is there any truth to the rumour that you have a framed series of pictures of you during that 2008 season of you holding up the Fairest and Best League medal in suit and a couple of highlight photos? Is there any truth to the rumour there is an actual framed series of photos somewhere in your house on the wall?
They're not signed though, but yeah, no, there is. My mum made it for me at the time. She got this big block mounted thing with all these footy photos. And
yes.
Yeah, I was a photo of it when I got home at night with just me in the medal.
Sure, Troy.
Mate, that is amazing.
Blaming your mum.
And you know what? There's not that many people out there in our club, in the amateurs that have that opportunity to win an association at Fairest and Best. So that is so special, mate. I tell you.
Tills, could Troy's 2008 League Fairest and Best be the last one for our club? Point of time. Has anyone else? Has Adam Edwards or anyone like that been close, or Joel?
Yeah, we've probably had a couple of runner-ups.
Sweeter, I think, came up 1 year.
And I'm thinking Sweeter, probably runner-up. They may have won it, and I apologize, Sweeter, if
you're listening.
If I get this wrong, but there may be just I think either it'll be Sweeter would have been the only one, I reckon. Cammy Grover would have come close.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think maybe Troy, you're the last association Fairest and Best winner that we've had as a representative. So, yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Paul, GM off. Get on to that, mate. Yep. So, really, I guess with on the 21st of July, Tills, Troy, we're going to be, it's our Past Players and Members Day, celebrating the 20-year anniversary of the 98 dual grand final premierships sides of reserves and league. And we could also say it's the 10-year anniversary of our last player and yourself, Troy, to win a league Fairest and Best. How about that?
Yeah, but that's a Silver Saints Day, isn't it, as well?
That's right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my membership in, so I'll be there for sure.
Beautiful.
You bloody better be, Troy.
All right.
Hey, get your bloody... I'll buy some Bacardi and Coke for you as well.
Oh, so yeah, the Bacardis and Coke, yeah.
I'll tell you what, the Mellidis brothers...
Yes.
I love them to death. But they'll come up with something fancy later. I've just got a hankering for something at the bar. You know, we've got a Bacardi. Oh, okay, yeah, well... haven't sold it in 7 years, but yeah, no, they drank the rest of it.
Pours out like molasses. Troisy, I got a little something else for you, a little trip down memory lane. We're going to 2012 now, right? 2012. Yep. This is from, remember we used to have the yearbooks for the club? It's only just recently that we've had them, so I guess, discontinued for the time being, and maybe a chance for us to come back.
Yearbooks.
Here's an excerpt from the then 2012 coaches report in one John Chad. So let me just run you through this. I'll read through it, and then I want your recollection. I want your feedback of how you see if your memories differ from what happens here. Let's see. At one point we'd over. It was a brilliant come from behind victory in the pouring rain on a ground that we've never played on, with only 20 players available. At half-time, we were 10 points behind, with the boys entering the sheds, whinging and whining about the opposition umpire, telling me I should do this and do that about their umpire. So I decided to put my stamp on this side by saying I can't do chatty impersonation, the next bloke to mention the umpire will never represent this club again. Take the umpire out of the equation by being first to the ball and then give it to one of our blokes. And then, this is Chatty talking about himself, I played my trump card. And I put the biggest umpire, whinger and whiner, the very ordinary, up until half-time, former F-grade association medalist Troy Mellidis, from centre-half forward to centre-half back. Even running back onto the ground, Troy was complaining that he'd never played centre-half back, so I said, "You can sit on the bench then." To which he smiled at me and said, "I'll be the best centre-half back you've ever seen." True to his word, he played the best half of football I'd seen the former association medalist play, and we got back into the game with an absolute team play, unselfish behaviour and discipline. The last 10 minutes was spent in their forward line, with our umpire controlling the play and our boys digging in the bottling of the ball up and being just 1 point up. We gave away no free kicks and were first to the ball. We stayed strong and eventually we won the game by the smallest margin, and a great way to forge into the second half of the year. Do you remember that game, Troy?
Yeah, I do remember that game, mate. Yeah. We were playing on a bloody cow paddock.
Yeah.
It was pretty close to how it went. It's actually not too far from the truth.
I do remember that game. I was in that game. That was a very good game. Do you remember that to and fro from Chatty about you sweeping the half back?
Yeah, no, I do. Because he put me in the half back and, just shut it down. I just think they just need a little bit of height there, and maybe just some little hard ball gets as well. And I just remember that game just going just mad at it, giving it everything.
It was Forest Field, wasn't it? It was down at Forest Field.
Yeah, it was, and I think we only won by a point.
True, yep.
So yeah, that was good. And looking back on the wins, it's probably apart from another win that I can think of, but it was a bloody great game of footy to see all the guys just knuckle down and achievable when you got the right spray at half time, and everyone just kind of getting together and playing the game the way it should be played.
Yeah, all right. Well, Troy, you mentioned another game that you remembered quite vividly apart from that one there. What was the other game you found was most memorable?
Oh, this was was early on in the piece. So think back 2007.
Yep.
Right, round 14. That's just playing at home.
Yep.
1 point win over Scarborough.
Oh.
Right. Goal umpire, who made a fairly dubious call, worked for our favour. Shane Honeysett.
Oh
right.
my God.
That's right.
And we won by a point. And it was the only win for the season. And geez, we partied, eh? We partied because we'd been on the end of fucking all year long. We came by 1 point. And then after we were in the rooms having a few beers, and I think it was the Scarborough coach comes in the room afterwards, and he's huffing and puffing about the outcome, and we all politely told him to, get out of our club rooms. We've won.
Please depart.
I just remember seeing the ball sail south through Gunner. Called that wrong, but we'll take it.
Was it on a tighter angle, or was there no question?
It was. It's hard to say. I mean, the best person who was in the position to see it was the goal umpire. So, with that.
And that's the story you're sticking to.
Yeah,
I remember that one, Troisy, and I remember it was absolute fallacy that went everywhere near the goal, and that was like the greatest feeling ever.
That was good.
Yeah, it was. We took the scoreboard off its rack, and we actually had it in the change rooms. I've got some photos around of all of us around the scoreboard with our beers.
Yeah.
That's how happy we are. We got a one win that really, it was a win. It's recorded, it's in the books.
Absolutely. Man,
well, that's what you get when you're playing third football. Your field umpire, your goal umpire, your people who do the boundary throwings, they're just whoever's there on the day, really. You get those lower grades. Played a lot of football without a boundary umpire.
You got to play it as you call it.
Yeah, just someone from this team takes that side of the field, we take this side of the field, and someone throws it in. Which was always good to help me a lot.
Now, Troisy, look, one of your biggest advocates of you as a player is one of your current teammates has been a long-term teammate of yours and a former podcast guest of ours, one Scott Anderson. And if I don't know if towards the end we have our three questions about three hypotheticals. One of them being who's the tough guy at the club who you'd like to be if you're in a melee. Who's the one guy in your side in the club you'd like to be alongside you? Another one would be in your retirement match, who would you have cheer you off? But the interesting question that we found from Scotty Anderson was the kick after the siren on the grand final to win the grand final, and Scotty Anderson's just quickly quipped Troy Mellidis. Next question. We also ran him through a bit of a quiz about who is the greater F Troop ruckman between yourself and one Mickey Robson. Now we went through a series of questions of areas of expert or areas of skills and so forth. Troy, I want to get your feedback on this between you and Mick. You often tandem rucked with him. What were the things that you thought that Mick was really good as a ruckman compared to be your offset?
Probably getting to the contest. He just push and push and push and get himself to that contest where, if I could see someone, like if he was in the forward line and Sheets was down there, instead of sprinting over 50 metres and busting my ass, I'd just go, hey, Sheets, can you take this knock? I'm going to sit back here, take my breath. Robbo would just make sure he's at every single contest. He'd run himself till he was absolutely spent, which is good.
Nick Satin, old Sheetsy, the fullback there, old mate of mine.
Yeah, Satin Sheets,
Satin. So let's go through this. I'll see if I can remember the categories that we ran through. Let's see. So you've giving the nod to Mick, yes? Yeah,
the guy's a gun, especially for someone who enjoys the vape. He can run.
Okay. What about what about marking prowess between yourself and Mick?
Oh, that's a tough one, eh?
What are the deciding factors here? Who had the shorter hands?
I'd take a few hangers, so I'd give that to me.
One for yourself. Do you think Mick didn't have just with the guy who's firmly had his feet on the ground?
Yeah, as his hop, his jump.
Yeah.
I think he could jump higher, I reckon, if he wanted to.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, well,
You've got to give
this one.
yourself some credit there, Troy.
Here's the dubious one. What about kicking, passing, or set? Well, let's take away the set shots from goal, because I know Scotty tipped. I'm pretty sure he tipped Mick to be the better at passing on the foot, but shooting at goal, he gave it to you without a doubt. So, what do you reckon? Is that a fair assessment?
I don't know if I'd even qualify, because I've never passed the footy in a kick before. I just thump it, and put it on the boot, and just get it down our way. I've never actually tried to pass the football to anyone else. So probably give that to Robbo.
Alrighty.
Oh.
Okay, so the pass. So that's 2 for Robbo, 1 for yourself. Although we could give the goal kicking to you as well, so I guess that's 2 and 2. What about the 1%ers, Troy? We're talking about tackling, shepherding.
Oh, I give that to me for sure.
Yeah. You got to talk yourself up eventually. You've been very cordial, Troy.
That's too modest. I'm a modest player.
You are.
Except when you're walking around with that. Well, where is that framed picture of you wearing the with the Fairest and Best medal at the club? I mean, I've often seen you walking around with it, holding it up around above your head. It's been a few years since you've done it.
Stephen Benedetti's house, if it's anywhere.
Stephen Benedetti, yeah. You used to have you entering the clubhouse with Stephen.
Above his bloody marital bed.
I used to take it off the wall and walk around with it and get people to kiss my palms like I was the Godfather.
Do you know who this guy is? Oh, God, Stefan. Yeah. Who was look, in your career, Stefan would certainly have a vie for, who was the bigger characters? I mean, F grade, the lower grades always have the more characters there. Who were some of the more comical guys you'd have, and any stories about them come to mind?
Oh, there's a lot, hey. You've got
Mickey Dawes.
Yeah, Mickey does as well. So Mickey D, he's an absolute character.
I've never seen a full forward have so many tickets on himself and get so frustrated when the ball wasn't coming down straight to him. It was funny, wasn't it? He was great. He had a great couple, I think a season and a half where when we were smashed, well, he was really doing quite well on the forward line, a genuine target, but I think he took a half a year off or a year off and then came back and he just wasn't the same. But
in 2010 he kicked 37.
Yeah.
So that's not bad going. And I think it was in 2009 he kicked 26. So he's it was good for us in the forward line, that's for sure.
Yeah. He's a real target. He wasn't a massive full forward either. You know, he's a slimy sort of mover. He just pick up these goals from nowhere. It was your little chaos ball out of the middle, Troy. He didn't work out too bad for us, I reckon.
If no one could read it, it's Mickey D always had the uncanny place of knowing where to be.
Bloody lazy as well.
Except for the mouth department.
As for characters, it was a good bunch of a crew there. If you're looking back to those early years, we're early 20s. Most of us are single. We're out, we'd be getting invited to everyone's 21st birthdays, 18th, 19th, and all that sort of stuff. And so there was always something going on. And it was a good crew of guys.
Do you remember the Hulks, the drink?
Sorry?
Do you remember the Hulk, the drink?
Stephen Benedetti made the Hulk, didn't he?
Yeah. Do you remember what made a Hulk? Yeah. Do you remember what the ingredients for a Hulk were?
Oh, I think there was some form of Gatorade in there, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was Tills was a blue Gatorade, and I think I don't know what alcohol was in there, but it certainly had one of those energy drinks. What was it? Not V. Or was it V?
No, there's Red Bull in there.
Red Bull, yeah.
Red Bull, the blue Gatorade, And
God, what alcohol?
Maybe just vodka.
Might have been, yeah. Yeah, Hulks.
Well, it could have been killer, but the old Hulks. Far out.
Could they make a comeback in Cocktail of the Week, Tills?
They could be that big chance, I reckon, there, Damo. Maybe on Past Players Day.
Who would take that? Should we get Stefan on that one?
Oh,
maybe not.
Nah, he's got
Not higher profile.
I reckon. Stretch. We'll talk about this later, I reckon, Damo, because the Past Players Day that'll be a big Cocktail of the Week one.
I don't know how popular it'd be, but it might be worth it. Troy.
It seemed to work during the day.
Troisy, what else, mate? What else can you do? Look, let's go through. Look, we talked about Neil Madeira. We talked about Nathan Thomas, about some of the gun players who've played for our third. So, I mean, I know Neil Madeira did play some league, and he certainly played a lot of resis. Not playing with us anymore, but he is playing still, I hear. Nolamara, I think. Who are some of the other great players who you thought were in the third, or even in reserves, who, for one reason or another, should have but didn't get their shot in league?
I think, there's a lot of guys that just were playing out of grade. That have been definitely not turning up to training and obviously work commitments.
Yeah.
I think like Ricky Fleischer, he was quite handy.
Yep, that's
he was very good.
Joshy V. Joshy V was good.
Yeah,
Joshy Vitosevic.
Yeah. Who else? I think he's still around today. Oh, you got Dino, Dean Turner.
Yeah, Dino.
He's still fairly handy now.
Yeah. He's stuck around for a while, hasn't he? He's been around for as long as you have, has he? Or maybe it was a year or two after?
He's been around, yeah. Definitely been around a while.
Yeah.
And a bloody good bloke as well.
Yeah, Dino, very good bloke. There's actually been a few of that sort of cut of that time, that era. Let's see, Brendo Carr, still around.
Yeah, I was going to mention him.
Yeah, Brendo's around. I mean, you've got Dino, yourself, Scotty Anderson, who I mentioned before, who sort of came around about that era, maybe a little bit afterwards, but around about that time. Who would you like from the thirds, like who used to play, would like to come back? Whether it's a dream or not, if you could make it a reality, who would you have come back?
Make it a reality. So I'd love to play again with the Benedetti brothers. That's for sure.
Louis as well, yeah.
Buddy Timbers, big Craig Timbrell.
Oh my God.
Yeah, get him back in the forward line just for some entertainment.
Yeah.
Even like some of the other guys that Matty Cinders. I mean, he can't play anymore.
Oh yeah.
Skillo, he's another guy who's probably not going to be any good anymore. But I'm saying if they were any good, they could play. I know, and Sano, he's great. He's a bloody handy player, and he's an all-round top bloke too.
Yep. Yeah,
well, you look at that because you mentioned Santa, started in thirds, Majorities, and Captain. Did eventually play league football as well.
Yeah.
And a champion fella.
Yep.
A lot of the guys, so much respect for that thirds group, were really committed to, just training one night a week. Okay, we're playing thirds, but the development and all that sort of stuff has been phenomenal for some of those guys.
Yeah. There was a really good time to be a part of the thirds team, Tills. I know it came off a golden period as well as thirds. So I remember when I took over the coaching role from you, your last year of coaching the thirds was pretty much the last gasp of what would be considered a great era of thirds football, when you had both Kickett boys there, you had guys who played league who Frank Fig Jr. and that had seen and done it all in league, and it was like the pasture for the older players who'd come in and win a couple of flags just in the thirds team. So it was a different thirds then, and when I got approached to do the third coaching there and found out the younger players or new players hadn't played it before, a bit of uncertainty there, but it ended up being while the on-field win-loss ratio wasn't as great as that great time in the turn of the 2000s for the next 5-8 years or so. The camaraderie and certainly the
enjoyment though, Damo, was still there. With all these new guys. It was what it was. It's a social, semi sort of committed sort of thing. So it was really enjoyable. Yeah.
It was great after the game. I mean, when we had Saturday presentations, awards, we'd have, there were times when, league would have more numbers there, but the next time, thirds would have have quite a few numbers there as well for the presentations, which is good. So, it was by definition a social side, but nonetheless a side that guys were there to play and be part of the club, which is great. And Troy, you were a part of that, mate. It was good, and you also doing the rotations from time to time, doing reserves and thirds, sometimes in the same weekend. Do you miss those days?
No, not really. No, it's just one game of footy's plenty. Yeah. Well, just in what you were saying before, there's a stat I come across on a good bit of numbers here. This is actually from your report, Terry.
Okay.
From 2007.
Yeah.
So this is the 2007 third team was a young side with an average age of 23 years, as opposed to the 2005 third team, which had an average age between 30 and 35.
Ooh.
So, that's a big age difference there from the side of 05.
And that was over a space of 2 years, was it, Troy?
Over 2 years, the average age decreased, 10 to 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It was something that was always sort of driven back in the old days, 20 odd years ago. Like, you finish your league career and then you still stick around the club and you play your thirds or you play your Saturdays competition. But
socially, I guess I've been fortunate enough to see it at its best. When the club was in A grade and we had 4 teams.
Yeah.
That was that. Yeah, your league reserve thirds and your Colt sides, and a lot of numbers around the club. And you'd be nice to the bar at a function. You'd have to wait because it'd be 3 or 4 deep. So, that sort of to be back up there be fantastic. But obviously you need the depth.
Any particular social function that sort of that sticks out for you, that was memorable for you?
Oh, the wedding. The wedding was awesome.
The mock
that was
wedding.
Pretty good. The one where that little yellow Fiat 500 was in the club room for the
that was the
you travelled in the airport. You flew to a different destination every time. You went to the little Karen Up Saints room, which was the airplane.
Yep.
The round the world one.
We had air hostesses that we would bring in drinks up and down. You could drink while you were waiting and the room was getting changed over.
That's right. They were team physios.
I think there was one of the Oktoberfest one as well. That was quite good.
Yeah.
The Oktoberfest was really good, yeah.
Clarkey, Jamie Clark was fantastic. He was instrumental in 2 of those 3 events that you spoke about, the Oktoberfest and also the Mystery Flight Night. So, yeah, he was. It's good to have a guy who has that those connections, because he obviously works in the industry of alcohol and so forth. So he could help us secure that stuff. And that's obviously when you saw someone with that attachment to his name, he also brought people with him as well. That always made it added pump the numbers. So. Oh, look, there's always a chance that these days will be revisited, Troy. Takes some time, takes more than just one person to come up with the idea, obviously. It needs the support of those who want to be a part of it as well. So,
absolutely, yeah.
Hey,
look, even some of the nights, I was going to say, speaking of functions, some of the nights there weren't even really functions, where we'd go down to the Odin for prezzies.
Yeah.
And then the karaoke lady would come out at about 8 o'clock, and then we'd be all on there doing karaoke. So
watching Michael.
I think it was Woodsy though. Woodsy ruined it for us. Remember, he got in trouble because he was dancing around with his pants.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Troy.
He was another good third player.
Yeah.
He's a character, yeah.
With his girlfriend, his long-suffering girlfriend with him. Yeah. Yeah, that was with his long-suffering girlfriend with him witnessing it all unfold. All right, Michael, we're leaving now. They're telling us we have to leave.
Yeah, poor old Asher, far out. He was a legend.
Yeah, he's a funny character. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Troy, we're going to wrap up this here podcast. As usual, we usually end up with our final 3 questions, my friend. Hypotheticals. We want you to answer as honestly or dishonestly as you would like. The 3 hypothetical questions. The first one is obviously going to be, well, I don't know, it might be an easy one for you. It's the grand final question, mate. Kick after the siren. There's a free kick. Someone has to kick it for us right on the 40-metre mark. Someone's going to kick for us to win the game. After the siren, win the grand final. You could choose anyone in your current or past playing career. Who would take that shot?
Oh, I think you'd have to go with Paulie Jimov, I reckon, He's a good kick.
Yeah, Punde was good for a good kick. When he, our manager, our current team manager, and still long-standing manager, a lot of things at our club, Paul Jimov. But
legend.
When he put him in the forward line,
he was good. Paulie Jimov, prime Paulie Jimov, not him, not retired Paulie Jimov.
In his prime, hey? He played with the long sleeves, didn't he? Tills?
Oh, back in the day, you see, yeah. No, he had every kit in the book. Sorry, Paulie G wanted to wear long sleeves, he'd have a jumper already made.
His own personal jumper.
Yeah, so I just remember him really cool, real level-headed.
Yeah.
So he'd have the mature head to cope with the pressure. I think a lot of people can make that kick, but it's about the pressure at the time if you're taking into account it's into the grand final.
He's a Tigers fan.
Yeah, he is a Tigers fan.
So for 40-odd years, since the 80s, he didn't pick the best team, but now he's flying high. So.
Well, that's it, yeah. Every Facebook podcast has him with a photo of wearing a Guernsey or the Tigers or whatever it is.
No.
Yeah.
God love him.
Yeah, he's going out for his marathon run. He's got the little tiger emblem on somewhere on there, some sort of paraphernalia.
Yeah, he thinks he's Costanza. Oh, what's that guy from Richmond? It sounds like Costanza.
Yeah. All right, Troisy, next one. Let's see. Okay, it's the all-in melee. Now, we talked about brawls and everything else like that through all parts of this podcast, but let's just see if you found yourself... Oh, geez. If you remember that game, remember that? What was it against the... oh, God. It was over in Jutland Parade. Who were we playing against? The... Oh, God. And remember that one?
I didn't play that game, but yeah, I know the...
You know the game? I
know the one you're referring to.
Yeah, we pulled all our players off because there was one guy out there who was just kneeing and kicking an elbow on everyone. He eventually got reported, and I do remember the opposition coach, I think one of the members of the committee for this, came up and said, "Oh, look, we'll suspend him. We'll make it an in-house suspension and leave it at that. What do you reckon?" Hoping that I'd let him go and say, yeah, but I said, nah, it's in the books. The referees have already got it down. It's going ahead. You can't have that guy. You'd be happy to see the end of him, I would have thought, if you were in that club. Anyway, if you had something like that happening, Troy, where you're at the receiving end, you have a sea of opposition players around you, they're throwing who would you like, again, current or past, would you like alongside you to help fight your way out? Who you reckon's the toughest, hardest nut who'd be the perfect bloke to have alongside you?
Don't say Dion.
Dion. How handy is Dion?
I'd like to think he'd get me out of the situation.
Who's that?
Would, but I've seen you play pool. We've pantsed you, almost.
Yeah.
Less fight there than anything.
Yeah, I mean, you probably want to have one of the tougher older players that I've played my early football with, but we've been finishing up because they would have played football 10 years prior to that, so they would have been playing in the 90s. So maybe one of the Heyman brothers, because they're from a harder breed from the older days.
You could pick one of those two, and there'd be no one left standing, I tell you.
And they'd be all arrested too in the back of the paddy wagon as well, those guys, because they're cops.
No,
I know. Jared or Dion? Which one?
Which one's the cop?
Dion, mate. Dion's the hardest bloke I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, he's very.
I'll pick Dion and Dion Heyman. He'll get me out.
Good pick. Very good pick. We'll just go to your brother. Before we get to the very last question, I want to deviate a little bit. We played a game of who was the better brother with Damo Lloyd. I want to play the same thing with you, between yourself and your brother Dion. Troy, would you be up for this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Between yourself and Dion, who's the better footballer?
Oh, me.
Okay. Between yourself and Dion, who's the better basketballer?
Oh, smashing the basketball too.
No. You'd beat him?
Yeah.
How about this? Between yourself and Dion, who's the better skating hockey player?
Oh, that'd be me as well.
Seriously? How are the Bush Chooks? Have you played street roller hockey, mate? That was an experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, we made it into the top 16 out of like 100 and something teams. So we were all up for a bit.
I actually love the concept. I love I just love the Guernseys. You were like the Mirrabooka Bush Chooks, was it?
Oh, that's well. The Mirrabooka Pistons is the basketball team, but that's the Marmy and Mighty Drunks.
Mighty Drunks.
And we got the Emu.
That's very.
Next door Guernsey, yeah.
Might to get some training jerseys like that just for the footy. That'd be good. Okay, what about between? I know you're also a muso, Troy. You play guitar. How are the Aztec Suns going, buddy? Are they on hiatus?
Yeah, still on hiatus. Yeah. I finally just got around to editing a video from 2011. So yeah, no, our thing Alexie's over in Wales. They'll be coming back, I think, towards the end of this year. So we might be looking to do a gig at the end of this year.
Cool.
All going well.
No, keep us in the loop, mate. We'll let the boys, everyone at the Stirling Saints Facebook pages know as well if you have any dates.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do a dual 1-2 punch with Here Comes the Rooster with another former Stirling Saints player, Chris Casella. He's a former player, band member of Here Comes the Rooster as well. So anyway, who's the better muso between you and Dion?
Oh, I'll say it'd be me again.
Okay. Yeah. All right. It's sort of loaded questions here. Who's got the worst dress sense between you and D?
Shit. Probably me. Dion dresses well. I don't dress that well. Dion, I'd have the worst dress sense.
Out of the two. Okay. Well, let's see. This was one between Damo and Jez, and Jez won this one, according to Damo. Between the two of you, who was better or more keen at karaoke?
No, for sure.
Yeah, geez, you're loading it up, mate.
No, he wouldn't have done karaoke once in his whole life. He's never done karaoke. Actually, no, we did. So we did a duet. We did a Beds of Burning at one of these ice cream factory festivals last year.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it was.
Peter Garrett's plural. What is Dion better at you at? Troy, what is Dion? Is there anything that Dion is better than you at that doesn't suck?
Better than me at.
He's thinking hard, folks.
Yeah, I've got to think about this one.
I reckon Troy, I saw you guys both at pool last week. You guys were terrible, but Dan was marginally better. Marginally.
Oh, he owns the pool table, that's why. He's got a pool table.
Okay.
No excuses, Troy.
But he talked about you a lot. He said, he talked about you practicing so much. That's right. I remember that.
Oh, I've got a snooker table. Oh, yeah, I play snooker.
Yeah, the snooker. He said, pool table's different
ball game.
Yeah, sorry? He says you can't play snooker against Troy because he practices and practices and practices.
against the ethos of the game.
Yeah.
All right, last question, Troy. Look, how many games? It says 104 on the site, but how many do you reckon you've played? Do you think that's accurate? How many more do you reckon you've played?
Probably another half dozen or so on top of that.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. Years still yet to come for you in your playing career? Or are you taking what's coming?
Hard to say. I don't know. I don't think I'd ever fully pull the pin. But I like to, be around. If I can help out, I'll help out.
Yeah. So you'd fade out rather than call it on a day.
Yeah. I'd rather fade away than burn out. I don't know.
If you were going to retire...
I can't see much more.
Sorry, say again?
I can't see much more footy left in me. But, yeah, I mean, I'd really already finished playing, I guess, in a sense. When I came down for jumper presentations this year, just to have a beer and watch who made the league side. Little did I know I'd be playing. So.
Well, if you did have the luxury of knowing that it was going to be your last game and you sort of knew that was it and you're going to hang your boots up after one particular game and you got chaired off, here's our last question, mate. Which two blokes, who would you have chairing you off at the end of the game? Who would you prefer? Currently, possibly currently, or even from the past?
Oh, I'd have used to.
Us two?
He's out there.
Tills?
Yeah.
Could we handle it?
Oh, only just.
You can't think of
tall,
anyone.
But he's bloody heavy as well.
Yeah. Can't you think of anyone else? Can't you think of anyone else, really? I mean, you know it's just us two, mate. D, what about Dion?
Yeah, could get him to do it. Yeah. As if he's playing.
Shows us over your own flesh and blood. Oh, I guess I'm flattered, I think.
It would be an absolute honour, Troy.
Yeah, it would be, Troy. It would be very good, mate. All jokes aside, it's it'd be very good, mate. Well, Troysy, mate, that's it. Our hour is up. Your hour is up. Our time is up for another episode, mate. Anyhow, Troy, cheers once again, mate. Thank you very much for being part of our podcast. Tills, thank you very much for being part of our podcast, mate.
Thank you, Dan.
To all our listeners,
legends again.
No worries. To our listeners, thank you very much, guys. We've completed, I think this is our 11th podcast of the season. It's been great to have you guys on board. Just a couple of quick plugs, of course. We've got the 21st of July as the Past Players Day, celebrating the 20 years since the merger of the Balcatta-Osborne Park Club to become what is now currently known as Stirling Football Club. And in that same year, obviously, put forward our 98 performance of the reserves and league, winning that grand final. 20 years celebrating that. 21st of July. Make sure you're there. And also, if you want to give Troy Mellidis a pat in the back, celebrating his 10-year anniversary of his F grade Fairest and Best, by all means do that. So we have that as well.
Shit. Sorry, Dave. I just saw Venus Williams' mum's butt.
Venus Williams' mum's butt?
Yeah, it's massive.
There you go, Tills. There you go. That's something you can plug right now. Plug that butt. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, mate.
That's all right. No problems. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, Venus Williams' mum's butt. Okay. So the 21st of July, make sure you're there. Also, keep your eye on the 100 Club. Has been delayed to the last home game. That is going to be the 4th of August. We are down to the last 30 tickets, folks, and I have done a round of emails to some of the past players, so they're going to be snapped up. Contact me, Damon, on 0400 988 313 to get your tickets. Tills, Troy, thank you very much. Good luck this weekend to our reserves and to our... and, of course, to our league side. And get down there. Home game, guys. Make sure you're there for it. Celebrate us. Celebrate the club. Come down and be a part of it. Go, Saints. Let's go. Woohoo!